Okay, hi, welcome to the Awakening Podcast. My name is Katie, and this is episode 5, where I'm going to be getting into the topic about heartbreak and turning that into the best gift for yourself. Because at the end of the day, heartbreak and pain is there for a reason, and it's there to evolve you and grow. And I feel over the last few years of my life, I want to share the way I've been able to take bad situations and bad pain and give it a whole new light and use it to the best of my advantage and be selfish with my pain and turn that into something beautiful for me in my own way. And I mean, right now I am 22, so I am just beginning my life here. But I feel it is very important to share what I have learned to impact any other viewer out there who has had similar experiences. But even if you haven't had a similar experience, the basic understanding I want to explain with heartbreak and evolving your soul comes down to a base foundation, and that can be applied to any situation that you have experienced. So this is going to be an episode where I'm going to get a little bit vulnerable and explain and share with you points in my life where I experienced heartbreak and how I was able to turn that into a different perspective. Whenever I hear the word heartbreak or feel the pain of a heartbreak, majority of the time it had to do something with men or something to do with love. So I want to get a little bit deeper on the topic of why. Why men and why love? Why was that something in my life experience that caused me so much heartbreak? So just before I get into a little bit personal details, life is a projection of what's within. Life is an energy exchange. So everything I was feeling at that current moment of my life that a heartbreak would happen, I experienced that heartbreak because I was projecting out that energy and life was matching my energy. So that stemmed from low standards I had internally. So even if this is at a subconscious level, when you experience heartbreak, it shows you a low standard you have had. To give it some context, if I had a relationship with a man in any sort of way and it ended up in me feeling heartbroken at the end, in some way or another, I had a low standard in some sort of category with this person. So that could have been a low standard on my value. So reflect that back into your life. If you had a relationship that caused you heartbreak based off of another person's actions, that is a reflection of what is wrong with you, with your internal system. So for example, a relationship I had in my life, I had an inner dialogue in my head, especially on a subconscious energy level, that I was not worthy, I was not enough, I was not lovable enough, and that this person could do better. Thinking that internally, even if I wouldn't say that to my partner at the time, I was radiating an energy that was saying that. And people can feel your energy. People are smart. And especially when you are in a relationship with someone, you can feel when your partner doesn't have a high standard, doesn't have a high value. And some people sadly use that to their advantage. If they see somebody who has a low self-esteem or low value, some people do take advantage of that. So some of the love relationships I was in my lifetime, I had a subconscious energy I was projecting out that said, you can do better than me. I'm not valuable. I don't deserve the things I want, and on a subconscious level, that other person would feel it and treat me according to that. And that is exactly how life works. Life is a mirror of what's within. So that is the first reason that you experience heartbreak when it comes to love, is you have low standards. The second reason is people pleasing. If you are a people pleaser, that means you want to sacrifice yourself in order to help people. You help people to get validation for yourself, even though it could be in a toxic way. There's a lot of different variations of people pleasing. However, people pleasing can come from a toxic place in your subconscious mind. And that toxic place is not feeling enough or not feeling valuable enough. So you have to add value to somebody else in order to feel value. Do you understand what I'm saying? That was something I experienced quite a bit in relationships as well. I feel I would always be involved in their life and benefiting their life, but in a way they were not benefiting mine from what I truly needed deep down in my heart. And I was putting myself on the back burner and focusing on relationships with men. I needed to be valued, and that's because I didn't feel that at the time. So to put this into another example, I had a relationship in my life with a man who was a really good person, really good human being, and I was involved and consumed into their life. And in a way, their life was like a distraction from my life. So I would leave my life and go be in their life and be consumed in their life. And after a long period of time, I had this awakening where I didn't feel I was getting in life what I genuinely need from the deep down pits of my soul. And I knew this person cannot give me that. That's no shade at all towards that person. At the end of the day, is a good human being, and I respect their life choices. However, on a deep level, it wasn't my person. And I was really proud of myself when I was able to figure that out. So the third reason why I experienced a lot of heartbreak when it came to men and love was my belief systems. So belief systems control a big chunk of your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind creates your life. So essentially, belief systems are a big part of creating your life. And my belief systems at the time were very poorly towards my expectations of a relationship. So to give an example, certain belief systems I had previously when I experienced heartbreak was that if a man loved me, that I would put up with a lot of abuse, verbal abuse anyway. I had a belief system that verbal abuse was something I could handle because I loved that person loved me. Another belief system I had was that everybody deserves another chance. And that is not always the case. So there would be situations where the man I was in a relationship with would do something to make me feel less valuable than I truly am. That could be anywhere on the spectrum. So I've experienced being cheated on. I've experienced verbal abuse, physical abuse. I've experienced a spectrum as up until this point of my life. I always had this belief system that people deserve another chance. In current day, where I'm at right now, I can understand a time where things cross a line. That's the third reason, is your belief systems, and they matter. So my camera just died. The shot here might be a little bit different because of that, but just thought I'd take a second to breathe. I just went over the 3 causes. So that was just to go over that and do a little recap. First reason was low standards within my subconscious mind and a low value of myself. The second was people pleasing and realizing that in itself can be toxic if you are coming from a place of lack of value and looking for value in other people. And the third reason was my belief systems. They were poorly aligned. And since they were poorly aligned, I would experience situations that perfectly mirrored back that poorly aligned belief system I had. So with going through heartbreak, there was periods of times in my life where I would cope. And coping for me was ignoring my pain or a way of processing my pain very slowly. And this came in all sorts of ways. So in college, I smoked way too much weed than I ever needed to be smoking. And that was a way for me to feel more numb, but yet more calm and peaceful at the same time. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with weed, but it has been something in my life I have used to cope with pain. And that is not the answer, as we all know. You cannot go to the outside world for healing. It all stems within. You're the only creator there is in your reality. You need to take that role as a CEO of the creator of your life. So this is something, a part of the video, I wasn't sure if I should talk about, but honestly, it's a really big part of my story and a big part of who I am today. So to give some back context, a human being, when they are born, ages from the second they're alive to ages 7. They are programming their subconscious mind. What they're programmed from 0 to 7 stays with them their entire life, unless they change that at some point in their life. So for me, I did not have my first spiritual awakening until I was 18 or 19. So the first 19 years, let's say, of my life, I was living through a subconscious program that was programmed into me from ages 0 to 7. So think of your life from ages 0 to 7. And you might find a lot of your current belief systems, your identity, your actions, and your habits come from that period of your life from 0 to 7. So in my personal life, I have a loving, beautiful mother who is very spiritually awoke to life and has always shown me kindness and gratefulness and loving. And I feel a lot of who I am today was because I had a mother like her. So my father, I cannot relate to on the same level. So before I even get into this, I want you guys to keep in mind, I am in a headspace that we are all one. I also have a strong belief system now after I understood spirituality and metaphysics and energy and all that stuff. You kind of plan your life before you come here in a way. And I feel I planned to have these negative experiences with my father to help me evolve and grow so that right now at 22, I have this whole life ahead of me where I feel I learned and overcame the biggest obstacle in my life. And I want to get a little bit into that. So parents for a human being is a staple in their foundation of who they are. The experiences I had were with him, I viewed in a negative light for a lot of my life. I felt a very lack of love from my parents. And from the ages of 0 to 7 is where I absorbed the energy of having a lack of value and a lack of love from men specifically. And because of that relationship I had, that was a staple in my foundation. And because I had a low value system and a low standard, I would keep experiencing that through relationships with men specifically because I did not heal that wound internally. Life is very funny that way. It's going to keep giving you the same experiences over and over again until you learn your lesson and heal and learn internally so that you don't project out that energy again. In the year 2019 is when I had the biggest spiritual awakening. This was in January. So keeping the spiritual awakening in mind ever since that moment, I was more aware of what I was doing and what I was experiencing. Relationships with men I would have would always end up some way or another at the end of it making me feel less valuable than I am, making me feel like I don't deserve what I truly want deep down. And I realized about myself, I was still projecting out the subconscious energy I had from my parents that I never healed. And I was aware of that. I was very much aware of that. I still had relationships after the awareness, and I still would experience the same thing. So at this point in the video, you can clearly start to understand a huge hill I had to get over in my life up until now was fixing this weird issue I had with men in love specifically. The only way for me to fix that was to go to the root of the issue, either fix it or get rid of it. And the root of the issue was my parent, because essentially he was the person in my life who made me feel a low self-esteem from a very young age and majority of my life. Even if he fully never comprehends it, that's facts in my experience, and I needed to go to the root to fix that. I tried to go to the outside world and go to him and fix his mind, and I tried everything I knew through my words to get into his brain and make it click for him. Like click for him to change, to be what I wanted him to be. The fact is, you can never change another person. You can never change another human being. You can never go to the outside world and change it. It all starts within. I hit rock bottom when I realized my parent was never going to change. And if they did change, it wouldn't be enough. When I hit that rock bottom, I made the decision for my own soul to take that person out of my life and cut that person off. However, my point is, if you've hit a rock bottom with a person in your life, no matter who they are to you, sometimes the best option is to cut them out. And for me, when I made that decision, it healed everything for me. And on a really deep level, for 1 second, I can look at him from soul to soul, from eternal spiritual being to another eternal spiritual being, and respect them in a way because they helped evolve me. That's what I got out of it, and that's how I healed myself. Without those negative experiences I had, I would not be as knowledgeable as I am right now. So in a weird way, I thank that person, even though I choose not to have that person in my life. And I also feel that way about past relationships I've had with men. I respect that person. Even if they made choices that really hurt me and they knew was wrong, I respect them on a deep level, because without that experience, I would not be where I'm at right now. It all comes down to your foundation internally. And my foundation is filled with love and understanding that we are all one. And with that as your foundation, you can overcome anything. It's a process and it's unique for everybody. But I wanted to share this because I know there are a lot of girls and boys out there who compromise with relationships and love and have low standards because they feel on a subconscious level that's what they deserve. But I want to ingrain this into your head instead, is that you're a spiritual being having a temporary human experience, and you volunteered to be here, and you deserve to be here. And I encourage you to adjust your belief systems and adjust your standards and adjust your values. The negative experiences are a reflection of you, and they point out what you need to fix internally within you. Sometimes you need to go right to the root of that belief system or value that you had of yourself. So this is where I'm going to cross the line in the video. Up until this line, I have talked about how I overcame the emotions and the negative situations I was in and how I grew and evolved. And on the other side of this line here is a beautiful world from here on out of receiving experiences that match your new vibration, your new standard, your new belief system, your new identity. And this is a really exciting chapter of my life I'm in right now, that I no longer will have a low expectation when it comes to love in any sort of way. Something really important is finding yourself throughout this whole process. What does this reflect about you, and how can you learn from it and fix this reflection? And how can you have the next reflection be the one you desire, the one you feel you deserve? At the highest level. In order to even do that, you need to radiate and project the self-love into your physical reality. That's how life works. Life is just an energy of what's within, a mirror of what's within. And the energy you give out is the energy you get back. And I've learned that. And I hope this was able to apply however it applies into your own life, and that you can evolve and grow from whatever you're going through. Everything is temporary, and this is all just an experience. You chose this life, and you chose these experiences at some level, and nothing is an accident. Everything is perfectly aligned. So now I think is a really good time to end off this podcast on a good note here. So I just want to recap real quick. If you are experiencing heartbreak or pain of any way, shape, or form when it comes to love, I think you need to recognize your belief systems and recognize your standards and adjust both of those things. And, even if you adjust them and you're still experiencing the same heartbreak over and over again, it's time for you to go to the root of the issue and fix the root of the issue, however you need to do that. Thank you so much for watching and tuning in. Super appreciate you all, and love you all. All right, bye.